The year 1999 was a notable year in history. Digital music, camera phones, a fear of complete technological meltdown around the corner. I was born?
Oh, hi there. Have you ever—
Geez, that guy sure is annoying. Anyways, none of that stuff matters because the thing we're taking a look at today is not related to any of that. What we're taking a look at is a little known thing called Project Y. You see, there was an up-and-coming game development studio that went by the name of Naughty Dog. At this point, you may have known them for their hit video games such as Dream Zone, Keef the Thief, or maybe their underrated, lesser-known series, the Crash Bandicoot trilogy. In January of 1999, while the team was wrapping up their work on the Crash series with Crash Team Racing, two of the developers broke off to start working on Project Y. This project was ambitious, trying to achieve a fully connected open world with no loading screens and a full cinematic narrative. It was planning to push the boundaries of gaming and was their first big title for the upcoming PlayStation 2. Once Crash Team Racing launched, the rest of the team hopped on board to work on the next project, which turned out to be what we now know as Jak and Daxter. Jak and Daxter is a beloved series of games, pushing the limits of what games could achieve in the 2000s. The creation of the seamless open worlds and cinematic storytelling not only evolved gaming at the time, but became a core identity of the studio as a whole. After Jak 3, the team did what they do best and concluded the series with another racing game. If I had a nickel for every time Naughty Dog wrapped up a series with a racing game, I'd have 2 nickels, which isn't a lot, but it's weird that it happened twice. After this, they repeated the cycle again, moving on to their next big project for the next big Sony console, Uncharted. But what if I told you that's not the end of Jak and Daxter? What if I told you there was one final chapter to the story? And most of all, what if I told you it wasn't for a home console?
Well, Sony did have a massively successful handheld, the PSP. Of course they capitalized on its success by bringing over the most popular IPs, so we must be talking about Daxter, right? I mean, it's the only Jak game they made for the PSP.
Wrong. Daxter was missing 2 very important things, the Jak and the and. What we're talking about today is Jak and Daxter: The Lost Frontier. The Lost Frontier was originally being developed by Naughty Dog as a PSP exclusive after they finished the mainline Jak games. After development for Uncharted went into full effect, however, they had to cancel The Lost Frontier as they just weren't able to take on both projects at once. So that was that. Until it wasn't. A few years later, The Lost Frontier was revived, being handed off to High Impact Games, who were famously known for bringing Sony IPs to their handheld in the form of Ratchet & Clank Size Matters and Secret Agent Clank. So, they went to work, and in November of 2009, they finally released Jak and Daxter: The Lost Frontier on the PSP. And PlayStation 2.
Wait a minute, didn't the PlayStation 3 come out like 3 years prior? Who the fuck is still playing this on a PlayStation 2? Oh
In actuality, I never played this game as a kid. In fact, I learned of this game's existence about a month ago. I looked it up and, well, it's safe to say people don't really like it. However, as a longtime fan of the Jak and Daxter series myself, I didn't want to just base my opinions on the opinions of others. So today, we're going to be experiencing the game for the first time. Just to be clear, this video isn't a Let's Play, nor is it a review, but rather a highly edited and narrated playthrough of the game, followed by some of my honest thoughts after completing it for the first time. Lastly, I would like to mention that I am playing this game through PlayStation 5's PS Plus Classics catalog. Honestly, the only reason for this is because I like the trophies, but that is irrelevant to this video. The only reason I bring it up is because there may be a few moments where you see a trophy pop up in the gameplay. I will mention that I am not using any of the emulation features that the PS5 provides, such as save states, rewind, or controller remapping, as I want to get the most authentic experience possible. Without further ado, let's begin.
Ever heard of Dog's Life? I sure wish I hadn't.
We interrupt this program to bring you the subscribe button. Have you ever wanted to help some poor nerd with no future prospects?
Wait, hey!
Well, now you can! For the low price of $0.00, you can help support your favorite creator. But wait! As part of this limited time offer, if you scroll down below this video right now, you can subscribe completely for free!
Hi, I'm a nerd. Before, I was just some guy rambling about video games on the internet. But with the help of the subscribe button, I'm still just a guy rambling about video games on the internet. Except now, I get paid to promote someone's shampoo.
That's right, take advantage of this limited time offer and click subscribe for free right now. And wait, if you subscribe right now, we'll also throw in the ability to like and leave a comment at no extra cost. Don't miss out! Scroll below this video to get all of this right now without spending a dime. Now back to your regularly scheduled programming.
That was close.
We've got to find a place to put down. This eco-storm is getting worse. According to this, we're near the brink. The edge of the world should be somewhere right below us.
Before we even begin the game, we're given an introductory cutscene upon booting it up. Jak and Daxter are seen flying a ship out of a storm with... Wait, is that Kira? What did they do to her? Going from her old design to whatever this is like a damn jump scare. Already, this is not a good sign of things to come. Anyways, from what we've gathered, their world is in disarray and covered in storms due to an eco shortage. So, the crew is flying to the literal edge of the world, the last bits of this universe that the precursors built and left unfinished, called the Brink, to see if they can fix the problem. They're attacked by pirates, Daxter shoots the fuel tank, and the crew crashes down into the Brink. After actually starting the game, we have a short conversation with Kira who tells us to try and find some green eco to use as fuel while she repairs the damage. Once she's done giving us these instructions, we set off into the tutorial island. We're introduced to the platforming and combat mechanics, which isn't anything crazy and is just the standard stuff you would expect from a 3D platformer. We find our first precursor orbs, kill some enemies, find a green eco crystal, and bring it back to Kira.
This crystal is acting like an eco prism. It's slowly taking dark eco and converting it into green. If I could speed that up. I've got an idea. Okay, the crystal is hooked into the fuel relays. I've added a power condenser to focus the output and a couple of loop circuits to stabilize the eco flow. If this works, we should be able to run on this baby for a long time.
Everyone, cross your fingers.
You know, I've never been able to do that.
Oh yeah, now we're in business.
You realize we just found a way to convert dark eco into green? Do you know what this means?
Well, it means we may be able to create other colors of eco.
Maybe, with a little research and the right tools.
Looks like our swashbuckling friends are at it again.
We need to help that airship, Jak.
Buckle up.
After making a scientific discovery, we take off back into the skies and are thrown into another tutorial, this time for the flying mechanics. I'll be honest, I was kind of surprised. I had no clue that there were aerial vehicle sections in this game. I assumed I was just getting myself into a typical 3D platformer. We shoot some pirates, do a barrel roll, then board the airship that we just saved. Here we meet the Duke of Europa, which is a small civilization of people out here in the Brink. He states that he's looking for an eco core, which we offer to help him find. In return, he takes us to Europa to rest and fix up our ship. Upon walking into Europa, the first thing I'm greeted with is a precursor statue that presents me with a hide-and-seek style minigame where I have to find the displayed precursor orb within a given time limit. Right out of the gate, I'm faced with my first major challenge. It's just a door? All these doors look exactly the same. I eventually found it. I mean, there's only so far I can go in 10 seconds. However, this was only the beginning. As I walk forward into the city, more of these statues pop up. The completionist in me needs to do them. So I do. And while some of them are pretty straightforward... Another door? What the fuck? Okay, well this door has stairs. I am going to lose my mind. Luckily, it was done. After I finished mentally torturing myself, we talked to Kira, who introduces us to the skill system. Killing enemies rewards us with Dark Eco, which is basically this game's XP system. With that Dark Eco, we can buy upgrades, with each category representing a different skill tree. Red focuses on melee attacks and damage, yellow modifies melee attacks, blue augments the spin attack, and green increases health and health regen. So we buy a melee damage upgrade and go talk to the Duke and the Chancellor. During a tense meeting, we're confronted about our intentions. We tell them we're trying to save the world, and they reveal an eco-seeker, but it doesn't work. Jak tries, but isn't able to power it up, so Kira requests to study it. They say if we can prove our worth in a training course, they will grant Kira the Seeker for a week. We head to the training course where we are given our first blaster and go through yet another tutorial to introduce us to the ranged combat. After we blast a bunch of dummy targets, we emerge to, you guessed it, another tutorial. This time, we run around as a mutated Daxter who fell down a sewer and interacted with Dark Eco. I'm just going to spoil this right now. I really hate these sections. You kind of just run around doing basic but tedious puzzles and engaging in clunky combat. This one just introduces us to the controls, but don't worry, there will be more later. We return to the Duke, who hands the Eco Core over to Kira before the pirates from the intro bust in and snatch it from her hands. Kira runs after it and also gets captured, so we get in our ship to chase after them just to get thrown into what feels like yet another tutorial. While we already know the ship controls, I say this is another tutorial because this puts us into somewhat of an auto-scroller that introduces us to two more things. The ship's grapple gun, which admittedly hardly ever gets used, and these Daxter QuickTime events, which, yeah, that's a QuickTime event. When I'm actually able to see what's happening, why is that lava so bright? I hook the pirates and do the QuickTime event a few times before finishing this section. We get a cutscene of the pirate ship fleeing as it lures us into a trap. We're shot down and finally get put into another tutorial. First, we come across a chest that gives us a new shotgun-style blaster before being granted our first ability. This ball that explodes when we shoot it allows us to do some light environmental puzzles and doubles up as a new tool to use in combat. We blast some rocks, do some platforming, fight some enemies, get a new outfit, fight some enemies, find some secrets, blast some rocks. I really hate these poles. Yeah, you get the drill, I won't do this bit again. Eventually, we clear out one final arena of enemies before coming across a new character.
You startle easy, don't you? Just as I thought. You have been touched by the darkness.
Whoa, how did you...
I know Dark Eco when I see it, son. And I could see that you saw what I saw when I said I saw it.
Huh. Okay. Who are you?
Good question. I know a lot, but I don't know that.
What are you doing way out here?
Wow, that's two. Don't know that either.
Alzheimer's Andy tells us he will repair our ship, but we need to get a power pod off of the biggest robot that he's ever built. We wander off into the forest, get a new ability that lets us make platforms, and fight our first boss. This fight was actually decently enjoyable. The first phase has us dodging attacks while shooting our energy orb at the boss to break its shield, while the second phase requires us to block the boss's attacks with the green platform ability to open up a brief damage phase window. After doing enough damage, we defeat the boss, get the pod, and return to the treehouse where our ship is ready to take to the skies. I won't complain about being given another tutorial, even though it kinda feels like one, as we fight off waves of pirate ships and disable the engines of the pirate carrier using lock-on missiles that our aircraft is newly equipped with. Once it's disabled, we board the carrier to save Kira. We confront the pirates and get our ass kicked as Kira and the pirate captain Phoenix emerge. Jak gets a bit jealous, and they both have a bit of a quarrel, which results in the Eco-Seeker getting knocked out of the ship. Kira makes us stop fighting, and we set off to retrieve the Eco-Seeker that we lost due to our petty beef. On our way out, we grab some upgrades and are introduced to the plane customization. Using the terminal here in the carrier, we can buy new components or upgrade existing ones to equip on our planes. Yes, I said planes, plural. Throughout this game, we'll be unlocking new planes that have different stats, as well as unique configurations to equip weapons and mods. This system is actually surprisingly in-depth for a silly little PSP game. Like, they really didn't have to do all this, but I'm here for it. We pimp out our plane before finally blasting off once again. The game opens up a bit, and we have the option to fly around and free roam the zone we're in with a few side objectives we can choose to tackle. First, we come across Dirk Hardpeck, who hosts a series of competitions. These competitions require us to follow Dirk around in his ship and compete with other NPC ships to try and shoot the most targets. Based on our placement, each competition has some rewards we can earn, including currencies, ship components, and even a weapon upgrade. My completionist brain fires off, so I need to get that upgrade. We compete in one race, after another, before finally getting to the final one. Yeah, these challenges are extremely easy. With the upgrade in hand, we make our way to the other side objective. This precursor idol requests us to break the purple crystals scattered around the map and bring their eco energy to him. The catch is that once we acquire the eco energy, we have a certain amount of time to get it back to him before it disappears and we have to try again. Basically, we're chasing collectibles, but with a twist. In exchange, we are rewarded with more currencies, ship components, and weapon upgrades. Of course, hunting collectibles is not the most exciting thing ever, and with 23 of them to track down and deliver on time, this took a decent amount of time. However, this little side quest was kind of cathartic. Up until now, this game had been painfully mediocre. It's at this point though, where something started to click. Is this feeling that I am feeling the feeling of enjoyment? Everything indicated that this game is not great, yet here I am, actually having fun? I fight off these stupid emotions and continue on. Coincidentally, the Eco-Seeker landed right into the one volcano on this one island in the brink, so we venture into there. We start by receiving a new ability, a jetpack. This allows us to use yellow eco to launch ourselves high into the air, and we use this to scale some rocks and enter the volcano. The rest of this section is fairly linear. There's some platforming for us to do and some enemies for us to fight, but we do come across a secret at one point which nets us another weapon upgrade. Eventually, we reach the top where we fight a few waves of enemies and grab the Eco-Seeker before making our way back to the pirate ship. I don't remember when we abducted the old man, but we convinced the pirates that he can help us. After flirting with Blobfish Kira, he tinkers with the Eco-Seeker a bit before it opens up and is supposedly pointing at a new fuel source to recharge it. We make the executive decision to follow it despite warnings of the journey being dangerous and head to Fardrop to gear up before making said journey. Fardrop is the second major zone of this game. It presents us with a new open world to fly around with some more side objectives to chase. We have more crystals to collect, 30 of them to be exact, and of course I grabbed all of them. However, instead of Hardpecker offering us racing challenges, the other side objective we have available is a pirate tower. This series of challenges basically just has us destroying a big ship within a certain time limit. 3 times. Yeah, they're pretty much all the same challenge. The only real difference I noticed was the fleet of planes protecting the ship being slightly more difficult variants each iteration. Regardless, we still complete all of them and claimed our rewards before moving on. We land in the town of Fardrop and are immediately greeted by Blue Shrek.
Smuggler, me a top dog in Fardrop.
Seems it's a tough town. Who are those dark creatures?
Alright, calm down, Jak. You'll get cancelled if you keep talking like that. It seems the town is under siege by massive eco-mutants, and Barter says he will give us any supplies we need if we stop the mutants from destroying all of his stores. I don't remember when I got this new weapon, we probably picked it up back on the pirate ship, but upon stepping foot into the town we immediately come across a chest containing an ammo upgrade for it. Afterwards, we run into town and test the new weapon out. This section is kind of unique. The scrap counter at the top of the screen acts as a timer. Our goal is to platform through the town and kill the mutants before that timer hits 0. Depending on how quickly we complete each time trial, we'll be rewarded the remaining amount of scrap which we can use to upgrade our planes. We clear the first trial, get launched to another part of the town and clear that trial, then we're introduced to our next new ability. This ability lets us temporarily slow down time, allowing us to cross the next set of platforms, and it also comes in handy for getting the jump on enemies. This ability is all good fun, until we make it to this stupid shitty dumbass bullshit platforming section. Maybe I'm just stupid, but this one platforming section was unnecessarily difficult. These tilting platforms have incredibly janky physics that are really annoying to jump on without slowing time. However, the time slowdown doesn't last long enough to make it all the way across, and even if you get halfway across, you have to wait for it to recharge since it's required to make it past the moving platforms. After failing again and again and again, I eventually brute forced my way past it. We complete the next few time trials before finally making it to a boss fight. And let me tell you, this boss fight is actually pretty fun. There are no mechanics that force you to use specific abilities, but you do have the option to use whatever abilities you think could give you an advantage. The boss is fast, kind of tanky, and has a few mechanics you need to be wary of, or else you'll end up taking a lot of damage. After a fairly short fight, we end up taking the boss down and head to Barter to get the supplies he promised us. We walk into his tavern where he offers us a little extra if we liven up the place, by starting a bar fight. Daxter accidentally starts the fight by throwing a bottle at us, but hits one of the pirates instead, and this serves as an introduction of sorts to another series of side missions that, of course, I'm going to complete. We fight off the Room of Pirates, and now when we talk to Barter, we can choose to do more bar brawls, but with varying objectives. Some have us hammering nails, some have us punching corks, and some have us completing the fight without getting hit or within a certain time limit. Dude, you've got to be kidding me. Those were literally the last 2 guys. The twist is that no weapons are allowed in the bar, so we have to do these challenges using melee combat only. We complete them all because it is ingrained in my brain to complete everything I can, but we get some cool rewards, so I guess it was worth it. We return to the pirate ship with the supplies and a master bar brawler reputation. Kira breaks the news that the Eco Seeker still needs more light eco to fully power it, and Phoenix tells us that he knows a place. Afterwards, we're given free reign to pilot the ship to any zone that we've been to. We've currently cleared pretty much all the side content, so we head directly to the new zone, the European research rig. We unlocked a new plane, so we take it out for a spin in the new zone. We have our usual set of crystals to track down, which I do, and another pirate tower. This pirate tower provides us with the thrilling gameplay of destroying as many repair ships as possible within the time limit, which was actually kind of difficult because this new ship is slow as shit. But after switching ships, it became fairly easy. Once we exhausted the new set of side content, we land at the barracks and do a little platforming before acquiring another new ability. This ability is a teleport that lets us switch spots with these blue precursor idols. This actually creates some unique puzzles, with the first one being a little secret tucked away to the side that rewards us with a blaster upgrade. Continuing on, we're given a little lore about this being a dark eco testing facility before coming across some more puzzles. The first mandatory puzzle has us juggling idols around to open up some doors, and then reusing those idols to cross through a laser shield. This is probably the first time in this game where I was asked to use my brain, and it was quite enjoyable. That feeling didn't last long though, as the second puzzle is... I don't quite understand. There are 3 idols in the center of the room, and we basically just use our green crystal ability to do some platforming around the room to eventually get to the top. Then, we save our spot by trading places with one of the idols so we can get back up quickly. We create the platforms to get across the cavern, and teleport back up to the top to jump across them before they collapse. I'm not sure why there are 3 idols when we only need 1. Maybe it's to provide backups in case something bugs out, but either way, this was pretty underwhelming. After crossing the chasm, we find Kira already messing with the controls for the eco pump. It makes me question why we went through so much when Kira just found an easier way in, but regardless, she asks us to buy her some time while she finishes figuring it out. We fight off a few enemies to defend Kira, and once they're all dead, we return to help her. We zap the monitor a bit, and the light eco pops out.
Bingo!
You did it!
No, we didn't.
While we exit the facility with the eco, Daxter wanders off and messes with some machine, which results in him getting picked up by a claw and dropped into a sewer as we're thrown into this again. I am so bored right now. I really hate all the back and forth this makes me do. Hear me out. These sections are beyond awful. Not only are they flat out boring, but it feels like I'm playing an entirely different and worse game. They feel like they're just there to pad out the game, like how this analogy is here to pad out this paragraph. It's like a completely isolated part of the game. You can't return to them later, the puzzles make you run back and forth a lot, there is no associated progression track, and they also add nothing to the narrative. If you completely removed these sections, literally nothing changes. After what felt like an hour of watching paint dry, but was more realistically 10 minutes of playing Jak and Daxter The Lost Frontier, Daxter reemerges and we hop into a new plane to fly back to the pirate ship with the light eco. Kira charges the Eco Seeker with the light eco, and it now points us in 2 different directions, indicating the 2 other parts we need to retrieve to fully fix it. We have the choice to pick which zone we want to go to first, with one of them being a new zone, the old Europa Barracks, and the other one seeing us return to Fardrop. We head to the barracks first to see what the new zone has to offer. So what does it have to offer? More of the same. We do the crystals, we do the pirate tower which has us destroy big ships again, and we move on. We land at the barracks and immediately acquire another new ability, which we'll use in a second. First, we walk up to the door to the facility and get a short cutscene where we all struggle to open the door before Old Man Jenkins walks up and opens it up for us. We enter the facility and are now introduced to the ability we just learned. The Eco Shield allows us to cross these pools of dark eco without taking any damage, and can also be used in combat to negate a bit of damage. This entire section is dedicated to using the Eco Shield to cross hazards, and even mixes it with some other mechanics such as the teleport. We even come across another secret that has us mix these abilities to get another chest that contains a weapon upgrade for a new weapon that we just received back on the pirate ship. This game's platforming is pretty simple for the most part, but the few times it introduces environmental puzzles that require you to think and combine multiple abilities is when it shines the most. Unfortunately, it took about half of the game to get to that point, so sections like this are very few and far between. We continue through the facility, occasionally fighting enemies or doing puzzles before eventually making it to the final room. Here we have a bit of a lengthy combat section that is actually pretty difficult. This new enemy type that was introduced here is pretty tough. They're kind of tanky and have some ranged attacks that are difficult to dodge and do a lot of damage. In this room we are also introduced to an enemy type that resurrects other enemies. The new weapon we were given, which is essentially a grenade launcher, is very powerful, but even using it, these enemies prove to be a bit of a challenge. Eventually, we fight off the waves of enemies and grab a few secrets I saw on my way in before moving into the next room and triggering another cutscene. This cutscene presents us with probably the biggest reveal of the game.
We got it, but there's a problem.
It's all my fault, Jak. The memories of this place are flooding back.
It turns out our friend here was, or is, a dark eco sage.
I've been so wrong, Jak, about so many things. I created this project, built the Dark Eco Warriors.
For who?
Then I tried to build robots to take this facility back by force, to undo what I'd done. But I failed.
Who did you do this for? He built them for me. For the Europans. You son.
Jak, wait! Hear him out!
The blame is mine. I was once the commander of the European Air Forces. I was put in charge of a secret weapons program to make a new class of warrior. You see, we were fighting a terrible war, and we were losing.
And so you put people in the chair.
No, I refused. When I realized what they were doing, I tried to stop the program, but Skyheed wouldn't hear of it. So, I took the only option before me. I kidnapped the program's chief scientist. Sorry, old boy, but in the scuffle, you took a big blow to the noggin. I marooned you on that island to hide your work from the Europans.
Too little, too late.
Yes, it all may be too late. Skyheed has spread the dark power to all his citizens. Every European is now infected with dark eco. Those monsters declared me an outlaw, so I became just that and fought back. I swore to destroy them. Destroy what you are.
Wait, Phoenix, please! Jak isn't a monster!
I've seen what he is.
No, Phoenix! If you care for me at all, you'll spare him. See, I need Jak. More than anything in the world.
You can't run from what you did, Phoenix, and neither can I. You can't kill your way to forgiveness, but together we can repair the damage we've done.
How?
We've got the secret weapon. A warrior that proves Dark Eco can be controlled, or at least managed.
Hey, what about me?
No, you're a certified crazy monster. But we may be able to help you fix that someday as well, son.
Jak, will you join me to stop the Europans?
Let's go put the Europans out of business.
We leave the barracks and begin flying back to the pirate ship when a fortress of defense systems emerges and takes fire at the ship. We're thrown into an aerial defense section where we now have to destroy the fortress and disable the missiles to protect the ship. We blow up some enemy planes and the turrets on the fortresses before dropping Daxter into the missile silo. Once he's on the missile, we have some more QuickTime events to rewire the missile, and we ride it back into the fortress to blow it up. Each time we do this, the fortresses emerge further, revealing more cannons that we have to deal with before finishing the phase. After the third and final phase, all fortresses are destroyed and we're free to board the pirate ship and head back to Fardrop. Before heading back to Fardrop though, we take a quick detour. Now that we have more abilities, there are a few secrets that I mentally took note of earlier in the game and I want to go pick them up. All of them just so happen to be at the brink. The first one is in the volcano, requiring us to use the teleport to collect a damage upgrade for the scattergun. The second one is back on the tutorial island where we have to use a yellow eco jump pad to collect a radius upgrade for the scattergun. The last one, I guess I didn't record, but there is another yellow eco pad in the area where we had our first boss fight earlier in the game. After we're done collecting these upgrades, we return to Fardrop and head to the bar to see if Barter knows the location of the other missing part. Coincidentally, it is here in the bar, under the possession of... oh my god. She challenges us to a fight, and if we breast her in combat, she promises to give us her sphere. We're thrown into a boss fight, once again restricted to melee combat only as we brawl in the bar. We dodge her attacks, dealing damage in between, and fighting waves of pirates between each phase. Each phase of the fight, we're barraged by new attacks that we have to avoid while continuing to damage her. This is one of the toughest boss fights in the game due to the lack of weapons, but it also means you can get creative and utilize your abilities more. It's also the first boss fight that I failed so far, so I had the misfortune of finding out that failing a boss resets the entire fight. No, I have to restart the whole fight? On our second attempt, we successfully defeat the boss and return to the ship. The Eco-Seeker points us to one final location beyond the edge of the world, Sector 0. We fly there to search for the last sphere, but first, side content. Crystals? Check. Other side objective? Look who it is, Dirk Hardpeck. Check. And with that done, all side content in the game has been exhausted. We dive into the vortex to retrieve the final sphere and are forced into our first auto-scroller since the start of the game. It feels like an eternity, but it's only about 5 minutes of blasting traps and avoiding obstacles before finally approaching the sphere. We retrieve it and return to the surface to find that the ship is under attack once again. The Europans tracked us down and are now making every effort to retrieve the now working Eco-Seeker to harvest the Eco for their own conquest. We begin protecting our ship by destroying the rubble being hurled at it. Once we clear the rubble, we use the opening to weaken the Europan battleship, and we repeat this process a few times until we finish this phase. After ensuring the safety of our ship from aerial assault, we return to the ship to help protect it from the boarding party. On the deck of the ship, we engage in a long fight that consists of us battling face to face with the Europan battleship. We simultaneously fight off waves of Europan soldiers, shoot down their attack planes, and blast open the panels of the battleship to weaken it whenever we have an opening. We rinse and repeat again and again, and just as we're on the edge of defeat, we successfully repel the attack. The enemy battleship flees and we head inside to rendezvous with the crew. The Eco-Seeker, now fully working, points us back to the research rig. Phoenix suggests we sneak in to avoid an ambush, so we hop in our plane and head back there. Upon arriving, we find that it's surrounded by a protective shield. We engage in a short aerial section where we are tasked with taking the shield down by destroying the 3 generators. Once that's complete, we fly into the research rig to find out what the Eco-Seeker was pointing us to.
What's that symbol?
The Eco Core, at the center of our planet.
This must be where the precursors controlled it.
But it looks long dead.
Maybe, maybe not. With the right persuasion... Jak, I need a little eco-energy for this control board. That woke something up. The Eco Core. The core is malfunctioning. I read a massive unstable energy buildup. It appears there's a prism at the center, which must combine and break the ecos into their colors. It seems to be out of alignment, but I think I can fix it. For what it's worth, I think I got it. But we'll need to bring it back online slowly, or else I don't know what...
Reporting as ordered, Captain. And I've brought a few lost souls with me.
Clout, good show, man. You captured Skyheat.
Just some old-fashioned parlor work. A little muscle, and something that talks louder than words.
Yes. Something much more persuasive. There are many more where that came from, Clout.
Like I said, I'm old-fashioned. And when a captain's gotta go, he's gotta go.
Is it too late to be on their side?
You traitor. No, you, sir, are the real traitor. You turned your back on our people and on your duty.
What you have made them. What you have become. You are no longer my people.
For your lack of loyalty, the penalty is death. Kill them, but leave the monster to me. I want Jak steady.
You're the monster, Skyheed.
In every war, there are worthwhile casualties. Join us, Jak. Accept your fate, as I have. This is the future.
Never!
Pity, Jak. You could have finally realized your true potential. Kill them all.
Get down! This energy field won't last long. Let's get out of here!
Run, cowards! And I will find you wherever you go!
With that, we've hit the point of no return. After narrowly escaping the research rig, we find out that the Europans are taking siege of Fardrop. We make the decision to go protect Fardrop and rally as many troops as possible to prepare for our final advancement against the Europans. Upon landing back at Fardrop, nearly everything is destroyed. We run through the bombed out city to fight off the invasion and help strengthen the city's defenses along the way. After clearing out the town, we board the invading ship where we fight off a few more waves of enemies and plant a bomb on the deck, blowing it up. We take to the skies to repel against another ship that just breached Fardrop's airspace. We fight off fleets of enemy planes and shoot the Dark Eco Crystal to prevent the ship from Death Star blasting Fardrop. Once we've disabled the laser, the ship flees and we regroup to start the final attack. We return to the barracks and find the warp gate when... No. Not this again. Right at the climax of the story, this game has the audacity to throw us into one final shitty Daxter section that is once again completely inconsequential to what is going on. Whoever created these parts had such a high ego that they insisted on breaking the momentum to squeeze in one more of these boring sections. So you know what? Fuck this. We're skipping it and pretending that it doesn't even exist. We enter the portal, immediately acquiring another weapon upgrade. We barrel past some laser walls, fight some enemies, then scale the side of a building to make it to the rooftops of this city. We jump across some dark eco vats, and shortly after reach a control center of some sorts where we find one final secret. We drop down and face off with a mini-boss that is unironically the best boss in the game. This ogre is tanky, does a lot of damage, and has a few mechanics that you need to keep in check. However, there's nothing you explicitly have to do to beat him. Just do enough damage without dying. He kicked my ass over and over and over again, but once I actually started incorporating my abilities into the fight, I started to see success. After utilizing our arsenal of abilities, it only took a few more tries before we finally took him down and rode an elevator up to the site of the ritual taking place.
It's over, Skyheed.
He's drawing on massive amounts of dark eco.
You are too late! The Eco Core is now mine to use as I will. With it, my armies will grow stronger. Europa will not only survive, it will rule the world!
Enough! This has gone too far.
You fool! You're only just beginning to see what Eco can do to us!
Ruskin, you were the one sending us messages.
Don't make me kill you, my Duke. There is still a chance to undo this madness. Yes, I helped them. I cannot live with what you have done to us all.
Then you will die with them! Now, it is your turn!
Do something, Jak!
Time to tame the beast.
The first phase of fighting the Duke simply has us dodging his Dark Eco attacks and chipping away at his health whenever we have an opening. After doing enough damage, he jumps away and uses a ship to shoot back at us. We take cover, and once it's safe, we repeat the process of dodging his attacks and chipping his health. We take cover again, do more damage when it's safe, and during the final phase, the arena begins to get destroyed around us. We train the boss around the arena, damaging when we can, but making sure to avoid his attacks as well as the crumbling playspace, until finally...
This isn't over! With enough power, even you cannot challenge me, Jak!
Oh, great. Smart move, Jak.
Hey, hero. Need a ride? Phoenix is getting good at catching jumpers.
Phoenix, Skyheat's on the move. He's headed back to the Eco Core.
You'll need a good ship to match him. Take your pick from the flyers in the hangar.
Thanks. Try to keep up, you old pirate. And Phoenix, keep Kira safe.
We'll stay close, Hotshot. The Phantom Blade has it in her. Just watch your six.
The fight isn't over yet. We head back to the ship where we obtain what will be our final weapon upgrade, although it is kind of unnecessary as the rest of the fight has us taking to the skies. We hop into our plane and follow the Duke through a precursor facility. The next part of this fight has us cruising through another auto-scroller, avoiding numerous obstacles and damaging the Duke's ship whenever his shields go down. This is probably one of the most anticlimactic fights of any game, as we essentially just fly in circles until enough damage is done and are consistently damage gated. Once we do enough damage, the Duke flees through a teleporter and makes it back to his battleship. We take our ship back up to the surface to finish the fight once and for all. The battleship is encased in a shield, so we fight off fleets of enemy ships while Phoenix tries to blast the shield off. After a few barrages, nothing seems to be working, so Phoenix makes one final, desperate attempt.
Looks like you boys need a lift.
You die.
Phoenix, what are you doing?
Sorry, old boy, but we can't have Skyheat double dipping from the Eco Core all day. Besides, if I don't show you up, who will?
Phoenix! No!
There's no other way, my dear. I started this, and I damn well can finish it. Jak, it was great flying with you. Keep Kira safe, will you? Now, Skyheat, or whatever you become, see if you can take a blade to the heart. Ha ha ha!
Phoenix!
Well, pluck my whiskers. He did it! The behemoth is damaged!
Which means it can be destroyed. Here I come, Skyheat. This is for Phoenix.
With his sacrifice, we are able to fly around the battleship, blasting the eco crystals off of it until finally we destroy the ship for good.
Look at that!
Hear that? The core is in balance again. Everything's in the green. The prism is aligned and the core is channeling energy. Soon eco-vents around the world will start flowing again. If only Phoenix could have seen this.
He was a good man.
He certainly was.
Phoenix sacrificed himself for us all.
My readings show a huge reduction in storm and quake activity in all directions. And the instability is dropping fast. Whoa!
Kira, you just...
Channeled eco-energy.
You may be turning into an eco-sage, my girl.
Big deal. When I get really riled up, I can turn into a massive 15-foot monster.
It's more like 8 feet, but I like you short and orange, pal.
And so do the ladies.
Castaway, what is your name?
People called me Tim.
Well, Tim and I have been decoding these symbols at the core. That circle inside our planet was attached to other energy lines, and a big one points out over the brink.
Which means...
We've got some exploring to do. Who knows what we'll find out there?
I say we go partake of the love and gratitude right here.
Out over the brink, huh?
Could be a grand adventure, if I can find a partner willing to keep up.
Well, since we're already way out here, I wasn't really planning on taking a vacation.
Say, you guys wouldn't be planning something without me, right? Next time I want to vote!
Oh, sure, Dax. All in favor of going on a new adventure, raise your hand.
2 to 1. Done. You lose.
Whoa! Whoa! You're lucky I didn't go monster on you just then. That really got me upset. Okay, fine. We'll go on another adventure. But this time I'm bringing a barf bag and some magazines. And maybe that sexy pirate chick. Oh, and a seat cushion. It hurts my tail to sit that long. And a few more snacks. hence the barf bag, and a high-tensile grooming comb for my luscious dark monster fur. And don't let me forget my puggy precursor bear. Can't sleep without it. And a boatload of gas pills. Oh, you guys won't be able to sleep if I don't have those. Ah, yes, I almost forgot. I'm bringing that cool precursor game system Tim built for me, and the racing game Jak X. And my whisker trimmer. Hey, you got any grubby gum? It helps pop the ears when we're landing.
I went into this game expecting a mess. I mean, people say this game sucks, and the review scores are not great. While the experience I got still was a mess in a lot of ways, my final impression is that it's a lovable mess. Is it a good Jak and Daxter game? For the most part, no. The narrative is a pretty cliche adventure story with a lot of backtracking. There are a lot of tedious gameplay sections that feel like they exist just to pad out the game, and despite having a decent amount of content, it ultimately gets held back by its relatively small scale. However, is it a good video game? Absolutely. I mean, right out of the gate, the combat feels really good. It's extremely reminiscent of Jak 2, and the combination of melee combat, weapons, and abilities flow incredibly well. The progression systems are plentiful and have a surprising amount of depth, especially for a PSP game. The game also has a lot of content with a lot of variety. I mean, you just watched a condensed version of 10 hours of gameplay, and there is a New Game Plus that offers a more challenging experience with additional weapon upgrades and an entirely unique ship to earn. The environments look pretty good, the game has very few bugs, and even though the writing isn't great, it's still really nice sharing one last adventure with these beloved characters. That opinion doesn't come from just doing the story, or even the bare minimum to get the platinum, but from doing almost all of the content the game has to offer. Aside from the New Game Plus, I did everything in the base game, and after settling in, I enjoyed almost every minute of it. That's why I went out of my way to buy the game. Despite its flaws, I can't consider my collection complete without adding this to it. At the end of the game, the characters leave the door open for another adventure. While Naughty Dog has long since moved on from this franchise, maybe one day we'll get to go on that next adventure. Until then, this game will sit on my shelf, reminding me of the last chapter of Jak and Daxter I ever got to experience.